Hello, stampers and crafters. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah McGuire from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today's card is this one. Look how pretty. I love this card. So all week long, we're going to be using the layering leaves stamp set that coordinates with the bow punch. This is it, and it punches out the leaves and this little springy thing, these pieces here. I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use it. So if you want to see how to make this card, please keep watching. So let's start by talking about this stamp set. This is the Layering Leaves stamp set. It is a photopolymer stamp set with 15 stamps in it, and there are some leaves here, some flowers, some sentiments, some little dots. This is a $1 million achievement stamp set. Million sales achiever Rachel Tessman created this stamp set. When you reach $1 million in sales in Stampin' Up, you get to make your own stamp set. So she made this one. I think it's beautiful. It coordinates with the bow punch. I went bow. I'm not sure how to actually say that. I want to say bow because like boughs of holly, but it coordinates with this punch. It punches out the leaves and the flowers. We're going to be doing that first. So let's pick out our stamps. This is a two-step stamp set, but I'm just going to be using a couple of the stamps here today. We're only using 3 of them. And I'm going to get some blocks to put them on. Need a D block. It's quite a chunky sentiment there. And get our leaves on there, and then our flowers can go on a C block. These are D blocks. This is on a C block. We're using 2 ink colors today, Shaded Spruce and Berry Burst. I love this color combination with the Shaded Spruce, the Berry Burst, the basic white. I think it's cute. So now I need a scrap piece of basic white. Sorry, I have a mess over the side of me. We're just going to use this guy. It's a little large, but that's okay. So when stamping with punches, it's super easy. It's a lot easier than die cuts. We are going to be using a couple of die cuts today, though. But when stamping with punches, I like to turn my punch over so I can see which way to stamp. So the flowers go this way, and the leaves go this way. I'm going to be stamping these individually, and I'm going to show you an easy way to do it, especially with punches like this or any builder punches you may have. Let's start with Shaded Spruce, and then I'm going to ink up my leaves. We need 2 of these, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to put that there, stamp it. This is a big enough piece of paper. We can do this way, I think. No, I'll wait because I don't want to punch out my image that's over here while I'm punching out this one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to line this up, and you can see it's if I stamped above it, I would be stamping out that flower. So I just kind of like to do them individually. If you're really good and you can line them up perfectly and stamp them out, awesome. I cannot. So I kind of do them individually. We have our one here, and now I can stamp our other one. I'll go this way. And then we can punch that one out. And then what I like to do is take my scissors and I just cut this. And you could save that if you want and maybe use it as like a mask and use a blending brush. I'm just going to throw it away because I know I'm not going to use it for anything. When I save stuff like that, it just sits here on my desk and then I don't use it. So now I'm going to grab the Berry Burst, and again, the flower is going this way, so I want to make sure that's the way I stamp. So that way it'll line up perfectly. And this one, because the flower is at the top of the punch, I can do it twice. And you could even go above that if you wanted to. I'm going to do 2 of those. And then just line it up. It lines up easier for me when I put it right, when my head is right above it. But I didn't want to get my head in the camera, so I'm making it look harder than it really is. I have those two pieces, and before we put our punch away, I have just a scrap piece of vellum here. I'm gonna punch out 2 of the leaves out of my scrap piece of vellum. 2 of those. Now I'm just gonna flip that over and get the little pieces punched out of that. And that's it for the punch. So let's put our ink away. I'm gonna clean up my inks, put some things away, and then we're going to actually heat emboss our sentiment, and I will show you how to do that in just a minute. So everything is put away, and now we're ready to do a little bit of heat embossing. If you are not into heat embossing yet, or don't want to be, we do carry a craft stamping pad that comes in white. You could use that to stamp on your cardstock. I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing. What it does is it just raises up that sentiment ever so slightly. You can see it makes it a little bit shiny there. I just like the look of it. So I have the Embossing Additions Toolkit, and with this kit you get an embossing buddy, a pair of tweezers, and a little brush to brush away all the powder and things, and this awesome tray. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, I'm just going to lightly run it over my cardstock, because what this does is it takes any static, any oils that are maybe on my fingers, takes that off so that we don't get powder sticking where we don't want it. Set that aside. I have my Versamark watermark ink pad, my sentiment stamp. I'm just going to take the ink pad and I'm going to ink up the stamp. You're not going to be able to see the ink. It is a clear ink. So that's good and inked up. And then I'm just going to put it, make sure it's going the right way. I'm going to line this up with my grid paper and get that as centered as possible. I'm pushing down just a little bit, not a lot. And there is our sentiment. You can probably kind of see that a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tweezers. I love these tweezers because they are a push to open tweezer. I'm just going to grab the corner of that. And I have some of the white Stampin' Emboss powder. Now this comes in a pack of 3. You get white, clear, and black. And then we also have a metallics pack where it has gold, copper, and silver. We're just going to be using the white for this. I'm going to sprinkle that over. Kind of shake it a little. Tap my tweezers. On a little more on that G there. And this powder, I'm telling you guys, this powder lasts forever. I just bought one of the whites, like maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago. It lasts forever. The jar I had previously, I had for like 8 years. So I just take the tray, and there's a little hole in it. I'm taking my brush and getting all that powder back into the jar. And this stuff seriously lasts forever. I've used this a ton, and this jar is not even halfway gone. So I'm going to move this to the side. Now we need our heat tool. Mine hangs up here on my wall. This is our heat tool. It has 2 settings, 1 and 2. I usually always emboss on setting 2. I barely use 1. I use 1 mostly if I'm watercoloring or something where I need to dry my ink really quick, but for heat embossing, I'm going to put it on setting 2. This may be a little loud, so you might want to turn down your volume. So I'm hoping you could see the magic happen. I did speed that up a little bit, so hopefully you could see that. My paper is now a little bit warped from the heat, but now that is nice and shiny. I'm hoping you can see that. I love heat embossing. I did notice I got a little bit of powder where I didn't want it. If that happens before you heat emboss, you can take your brush and move it off. It's not going to do anything now because it's already on there, but it gives it a little razzle dazzle. I'm okay with it. So now we're ready to put our card together. I took a piece of basic white and I've already embossed it using the Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. I've already embossed it. All the measurements for this card are on my blog. Click the first link in the description of this video to head straight to this project. I do have 2 circles that I die cut with the Stylish Shapes dies. Let me show you these dies because I absolutely love them. They are a staple for me. I use them all the time. So you have these awesome circles, some squares, and some banners here. They are all stitched. You see the stitching on there? Love these dies. And then I have my other pieces. I have my piece for the inside, and then I have my piece of shaded spruce, and then my berry burst card base. I'm just going to take a bone folder and burnish that card base so it sits flat for me. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue today. So I have my liquid glue. I like the liquid glue for the embossed pieces because it kind of gets into all those little nooks and crannies, like an English muffin. There's nooks and crannies. It gets in there and it just helps it stick a lot better, I think. So I'm going to put some liquid glue on that and line it up with my shaded spruce. I also like the liquid glue because if I mess up and don't get it perfect, I have a little time to wiggle it and move it around before I push everything all down. I put some liquid glue on the back of our shaded spruce and put that on our card base. And now we can start building our circles and our leaves there. So I'm going to take a little more liquid glue on the back of this smaller circle. Just put that right in the middle. And then what I did for this part, I did use a little bit of seal just on the bottom of the circle here. And that is what we're going to stick our pieces to. So I'm going to take the vellum ones first. Put one there, one like that, and this is completely like creative, so however you want to place your leaves and your flowers, totally up to you. Kind of cross that one. I think this is one of those cards that can look different every time depending on what you do and how you place things. And I want that up a little higher, so I think I'm going to take a glue dot and just take off with my paper piercer and put it up there so that can be up higher. Maybe move it like that. Looks good to me. Now I'm going to take a few dimensionals. I want to be careful not to put this down because there's seal on it and I don't want to stick it to my grid paper. See, it already stuck to my finger. I'm going to make sure kind of in the middle, but not really. I want my leaves going kind of in a backwards L shape, so I'm going to do it like that. And then we're going to take a few dimensionals for our sentiment. I'm going to do 3, I think. And then what I did is I just lined this edge up with the shaded spruce edge here. And actually I don't think I want a dimensional there because I want it to lay flat on there. We're going to take a little seal and run it over that. Line it up just like that. And we're covering all our glue there. And now we can add our embellishment. So I have some of the adhesive back sequins trio. These come in white, pretty peacock, and berry burst. We're going to use the berry burst ones. There are 2 sizes. And grab one of these large ones. Pop that up there. A smaller one maybe there. And then one more right on our shaded spruce piece. Got to put our inside in too. I am going to use seal for that as well, just for time's sake. It is faster. Pop our inside in. I didn't decorate. Oh, I got a little glue on there. I didn't decorate this one. Sorry, I'm trying to get this glue off of there. There, got it. There it goes. So I didn't decorate the inside of this one, but I did do this one with some of the little dots that come in this set. I used shaded spruce and just did the corner of that. So I hope you enjoyed this card today. I hope you enjoyed talking about layering, yes, I always want to say layered. It's layering leaves. I hope you enjoyed talking about this stamp set and the punch all week long. If you are going to shop with me, please use my August host code. When you spend any amount in my online store, you will get 4 free card tutorials. And when you spend $50 or more, I will send you this, what is it called? Metallic woven ribbon, and it is in Tahitian Tide, which is a beautiful blue. I will send this to you in the month of September for orders over $50 after sales tax and shipping. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed talking about layering leaves all week long. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.